Oi, Bladrins, welcome back to a new Lightning Quick Repairs episode. Today we're going to be taking a look at this HP laptop we've got right here with a cracked display, and we're going to be replacing it. Alright guys, now that I've got the camera set up ready to go, I just want to give a bit of context. This laptop was given to me by Nihao, aka Flabby, however the hell you want to call him, Virgin Media guy, and he told me that nothing was displaying on the actual screen itself, and it only works when plugged into a monitor or a TV, and sure enough he was correct. And when I was doing my checks, the only display that came up was the actual monitor or TV that it was plugged into, so that to me told me that the actual internal display wasn't even plugged in. And when I received the laptop, I actually took this apart when I was doing my checks just to double check that, and sure enough I was correct. The actual LCD itself, the connector that connects to the actual LCD, wasn't even plugged in. So let's start working on this laptop then. It isn't turned off, but that's okay. When we unplug the battery, it should be fine. And I've got my tweezers here ready to go. I've got my pry tool ready to go, and I've got myself a screwdriver. It's a shit screwdriver, but it works. I have ordered some nice screwdrivers, so they're still on the way, so for now this will have to make do. There you are, so all the screws have been unscrewed, so now we can actually pry this trackpad palm rest part apart. We don't have to take apart the laptop, but the reason why I'm doing this is because it makes it easier for us to actually work on. Shut up. There we are. So as you can see, I'm just using one of these metal tools. I should get a new one or bend this back into shape to pry apart this palm rest assembly. So you can see I'm just carefully going along the edges. There we are, it's all just unclicking. There we are, that's all disconnected, so you can see that the actual assembly is starting to come off. Let's just close this laptop down, and let's just slowly flip this apart, being very careful of course. And we can actually just remove this back. It should all just unclip as well. There we are. Did I miss a screw? No, I didn't. There we are. So that's the bottom assembly apart. So now we've just got the laptop itself. So now this is the battery. The first thing we're going to do is unplug the battery. I should force shut down the laptop, but obviously it's not really that important. And do remember to keep these screws separate as well, because they're different screws for different parts of the laptop, so just make sure you got those separately. Here we are. So now we could just disconnect the battery. There we are, and that's connected. Keep that off to the side, be very careful with that. And now what we can do is you can start disconnecting parts of the laptop. So the first thing we're going to disconnect is the display. So we can use our finger, but also we can use a little tweezer. So I'm just going to use a tweezer, although actually no, screw that, I'm just going to use my hand. Just gives me a bit more control. There we are. So that's disconnected, and when that's disconnected, make sure you flip that back in so you don't break the latch. That's really important. And just deroute that cable through. We're going to unscrew that as well in a second. Unscrew the Wi-Fi card. Here we are. Once again, it's a different screw, so just keep that separate. Unplug the cable. Slowly take that out. There we go. Come on. Here we are. So just keep that on the side. And now just deroute that cable as well. Perfect. And all we got to do here is start taking off these screws. There's 1, 2, 3 on the right hand side, and there's 1, 2, 3 on the left hand side. And once again, they're different screws, so keep them separate. Alright, so now that we've got the hinges unscrewed, we could just use our finger to just pull them up ever so slightly, and we can get them away from the actual laptop itself. Make sure you move this cable out of the way, and same for this. And now you could just pull the actual motherboard bottom half of the laptop away, and that's not needed anymore. Perfect. So the only thing we've got now is the actual display assembly. So the first thing we're going to have to do is use our pry tool and start prying off this bezel. There we are. You could also use your fingernail, that's all good if you would like to. There we are, but obviously just be gentle because you're working with the display at the same time and you don't want to crack the bezel. There we are. Okay, so now that we've got this bezel out of place, or disconnected, you can see that this clutch cover is holding that on. So what you want to do is you can also disconnect this, just pull straight up, and then that will come straight off. Just be very careful because this is quite, you know, thin, so that's going to snap really easily, so just be very careful with that. And now you can see that there's these little clips, so the same thing, just pull that out of place. It's a bit difficult to work with, but there we go. There we go. And as you can see, there's adhesive on this, so usually the adhesive will connect to the back of this. That's going to be very difficult for you to remove. You're just going to have to be very careful and just peel it off, and that should come off. I've done this already, so that's why it came off really easily. This is what I had to do because I couldn't reach the actual display cable. It got stuck underneath this motherboard little bit right here, so I had to kind of cut it and then connect it, but that doesn't affect anything. But anyways, now that we've got this the bezel taken apart, we've got these hinge screws that we need to remove, so take those out. There we are, and make sure you remove this and that as well. Here we go. So the right hand, or the right hand side for me, has come off, and usually there will be clips back here, so it doesn't really matter, you could just pull it straight out. And there we go. And these clips are brittle, so it doesn't really matter if they break. They're not really used for much, so let's just continue working on the left hand side ones. And this display wouldn't just usually come out as you would expect, where it just folds straight off. HP decided to put adhesive on the back of these displays to hold it in place even more, so it's a piss take. So if they snap, you got to be very careful. Well, try not to have it snap. So here's where tweezers come involved, and my ones are really bent out of shape. I'll just quickly bend that back. There we go. So you just got to be very careful. Try not to snap these as well because they're very annoying. Okay, and just start pulling towards you. Don't pull up away from the display, just pull parallel to that direction. So go very nice and gentle, otherwise it's just going to snap and then that's going to cause issues. Done. And that is this side of the adhesive. That's done. Done. And that went very smoothly. So now I can actually just pick up the display. There is something that's holding this in. Where is it? Oh, nothing. And yeah, there was that cable holding it in. So now we've got the display disconnected from the actual housing itself. What we can do is, you can see right here, if you fold this back, you can see right here is the actual display cable. So you just want to be very careful with this. Just disconnect that out of place, and that's it. So be very careful with this display cable, and then be very careful with this display cable. What the hell did I just say? Okay, and now this can be moved off to the side, and this is part of this video done. And now what we can do is we can run this display number. It will be one of these. It most likely is just N156HGA-EA3. Just type that into Google or eBay or whatever website used to locate your replacement displays, and I'll get that ordered in, and in the next part of this video we're actually gonna replace it. Hey yo brethren, so basically yeah, man's back in it after a while, and replacement screen. So yeah, let's get this thing sorted, shall we? That looks awesome, and that is the same screen as the other one, and it's got the protective wrap as well. And thank god the connector is exposed like that, because the wrapping on the other one was miserable. Okay, so that's connected now. I'll have to probably double check how this was seated, but that's fine. Just for now, what I'll do is I'll quickly connect this up and see if this display works, and if it does, then obviously we know that the display is perfectly fine, because I don't want to double-sided tape this down and see that the display is faulty, so and then I'm gonna have to rip it apart again. Nah, I don't want to do that, so I'm just gonna loosely put it back together somehow. Yay! As you can see, the display is working, so I'm just gonna wait for it to fully boot up now, and let's see how it works. There we go. As you can see, that's logged in, and that is good. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm doing this upside down, is check the display settings, right, make sure it is good, it is showing 1080p, perfect. And now what I'm going to do is shut this down and get this fully assembled back together. There we go, so that is connected properly now. So I just put it in the wrong way around, but that still works fine. So let's just get some double-sided tape, shall we? And also I really hope you guys like the lighting on this thing. It looks awesome. I just need to sort out how to get the phone in focus properly, because as you can see it kind of goes out of focus, probably because this is black and it's kind of reflective, but it's fine. Where is my knife gone? What I'm going to do is actually disconnect this. There we go. So let's just place this down upside down. Perfect, there's one. There we go, that's fine. So that's both done. So what I'm actually going to do is reconnect the display again. Done. And now we could just carefully take off the backing off of this thing. So I'll show you here. Let's take the backing off of this. There we go. And let's just place this down, shall we? This is going to be scary because I have to align it while being careful to put it down in place. But I should be okay. And I got it, perfect. I'm just going to slowly pat that down. Okay, this cable just routes like this. So if I bring that up here, this light is very reflective. This display is very reflective. That just routes through like that. So obviously that's where the hinge will go, and then it routes underneath that. So that's all good. Now that we've got that in place, we can actually start getting our hinges. Okay, so that's the left side done. So now let's just move this off to the side a bit, get the right one installed. So finally I've got this cable and this cable right through. It was a bit of a mess, I'll tell you that. It was actually a lot more finicky than I remember it being, probably because it's a new display or something like that, and I just forgot how to route the cable through properly. But basically the bezel wasn't clipping back on, and I hate this, the way this is designed. But I've got it now, so I can quickly show you that, how to route it through. So for the Wi-Fi cable, right, I can show you like this. Right, the cable comes through here, goes through there, goes through there, right there, and then that goes through under the actual hinge itself, and you can see there's a gap right there, so that just routes through there. So you can see that gap, that slot there, that's where it goes. And then the second one if I just do this, right, this was a lot more tricky. So you need to route that cable through there, and this one was so much more simpler when I understood why it wasn't going through. But this just goes on top and over here, so it took me 20 minutes to figure that out. What we need to do is we need to put some new double-sided tape on this side, because as you can see, this one's kind of old and it's not damaged, but it's just unusable. So let's actually remove this. Let's get our double-sided tape, and this was a lot bigger than what it should be, but that's fine because we can cut it in half. So let's just do it this big, and let's just get that bit left there. Perfect. So now what we can just do is start peeling back the tape. That's all good to go now. So let's take this off. And unfortunately it's not as satisfying, but that's okay. Let me see if I can actually just do this without peeling back the tape. Maybe I can. Yeah, I probably will have to. Okay, that's okay. That is very satisfying. Whew. That is very nice. So just putting back the bezel, clipping all back together now. Make sure you push on the bottom as well. There we are. We need to actually put this back on. So this is the clutch cover, and let's just get that in. And make sure when it comes to this cable, you keep it in, like you can see this is designed for a reason. This is so that it holds the cable in without being crushed, so it has like a bit of wiggle room. That's why it's angled like that. So this side will go in easily. Actually, I'm going to just bend that back. There we are. So that will go in easily. This one you want to put here. It's gonna be a bit fiddly, but it should. And I think that cable, yep, that cable is almost there. There we go. And that clips all back together. And if you ever get stuck, or if it doesn't clip back in, you can always just pull it straight back out like this. So you can just put your pry tool in and then start prying away like that, and then it will just come straight off. But yeah, so that's that. So now that we've got the clutch cover back on, time to get the actual motherboard back in place. So you want to get these cables ready, and let's do this, shall we? So first things first, let's get this cable inside. And we are done. So let's just push that cable back down. That's all good. And let us, I know I keep saying let us, but yeah, that's fine. Let's connect this back cover back on, and we should be jolly good to power this on. There we are. Done. Boom. And now what I'm actually gonna, oh, there we go, one more clip, another clip. Yeah, it's good to also double check, just going around actually. There we go. Yep, so that's all connected. So what I'm gonna do is, as a last test, power this on. Does this have charge? No, it does not have charge. Let's plug this in then, shall we? Where's the power port on this thing? On the left. And that red light is showing. Let's turn this on. White light is showing. And let's see here. Yay! There we go. It takes some time to boot after you kind of disconnect and reconnect parts. But yeah, that's all good. So let's just click on enter. And it's just going to reboot. So I'm just going to do it like this. There we go. There we go. Done. So that's the replacement for the display. While that's booting, I'm actually just going to do the rest of the screws up at the bottom here. So that's the display replaced on this HP laptop. In case you're wondering, this is the HP 15S-FQ0017NA. So that says it up there. There you go, you can see that. And now let's just turn this laptop on. I'm going to get rid of this stupid LCD sticker actually as well, because it's pissing me off. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm going to IPA all of this crap off of this. And let's just quickly log in. I'm just going to log in off camera. There we go. And done. So what I'm going to do is go here. Display settings. And this display looks really good as well. 1080p and everything. Very good quality. I'm going to put it down to 100%. There we go. 1920 by 1080. There we go. And this is a 1080p display, what it originally came with. And that's that. So thank you guys very much for watching this lightning quick repairs. I hope you like the lights as well. Still need to figure out the focusing issue on these things. But yeah, stay tuned for more lightning quick repairs, and I'll see you again in the next video.